Alright y'all, let's walk through the steps to get your file ready to input into the plasma machine. So we're going to start out with Lightburn. Got your design drawn out. Your size is 9x4. So let's just export. We're going to export it in SVG. You can save it in a DXF through Lightburn, but my experience, that changes the sizes. The sizes do not stay consistent, so it's easier to just save as an SVG from here. Then we'll go into CorelDraw. Check your sizes up here, see if they're still the same. 4x9. Then you just want to export again. This time you want to save it as a DWG. Alright, with our DWG file saved, we'll go into BobCad. Open your file. Need to change this down to DWG so it'll show up. Here's our test. Alright, so when your design pops in, it'll always be straddling the crosshair here. It needs to be up in this upper right quadrant. So to move it, there's different ways to do this. The way that works for me is utilities, translate, draw a box around it, hover over the center dot and left click, and right click OK. Alright, get your data entry window here, grab your cam tree, right click cam defaults, new job, leave it on milling, leave it on the plasma table, go straight into the stock wizard. Next arrow, you don't have to change anything here. Next, and next, click OK. Now machine setup 1, right click, mill to axis. Here's where you want to select your geometry. Click a box, draw a box around it, and click OK. Now just hit the next button. This little square box here, you want to always see your design in here. If it's not in here, you haven't selected your geometry yet. You don't need to change anything else though. Next, you always want to get rid of this profile rough. You only want profile finish left. Don't change any of the other things. Next, this is where you can put tabs in if you want, so your part stays into your cut piece. You can do that in the design as well. Next, offset 1 should never change. Arc move should never change. Next, you don't have to change anything here because we actually set all this stuff in the console itself. Next, this is your where it's going to cut on the line, inside the line, or outside the line. So left is inside the line, right is outside the line, and off is dead center on your design line. Kind of depends on what it is you're cutting and where you want it. For what we're doing, we'll do right to the outside of the line. If you do inside the line, it changes the dimensions of your final part. So we're doing right compensation outside the line. Next, don't change anything here. Next, this is your lead ends where it starts to cut it. We're going to do right angle where it's coming from outside of your design, and the lead in 1/8 inch, 1.25. .125, sorry. Next. This is if you want your corners sharp or rounded. That's inside and outside. We're going to leave them both on sharp. Depends on what your design is. Next. This is the sequence in which it cuts your design, cuts your geometry. If you have quite a bit of a cut, a lot of different inside outside cuts, you'll want to use optimized. I found for this one that we're testing, I had to leave it on closest because otherwise it would not write the G code. So usually want to try optimized, and if it doesn't write your code, come back and change this to closest. Next. And then we're ready to compute. You don't change anything in the feed rate. It's all done inside the console. So we'll do compute. And as you can see, it's got some added lines now. This is showing you the yellow line where it's gonna actually cut inside of the B. Gonna cut inside. Out here it's gonna cut to the outside. This is your lead ins and your lead outs. Same way with the square, it's cutting the square on the outside. Cutting the triangle on the inside. So now we have got the code generated. So you want to click post, post and save. Put it where you can find it, and as you notice, it's an NC file. That's what's required for the console to read the G code. The NC file automatically will do it in that format. And we'll replace the one that I didn't get right earlier, and we should be ready to go. So now we'll take the flash drive and put it over into the console.